up, people? Red Vince here, and welcome to my first countdown. Well, I've said this was coming in 2 of my previous videos, and now, here it is. Today, I'm counting down my top 20 favorite movies of all time. These are the movies I love watching more than any others. The ones I can watch over and over and over again and never get tired of. These are the movies that just put me in a good mood whenever I see them. Which is a little fucked up considering the nature of some of them. So let's quit stalling and dive right in.
Number 20. The Wizard of Oz. Over 75 years old, and this movie is still considered to be one of the best. And to be honest, I'm not even sure what to say about this film that hasn't already been said by everyone else over the years. I mean, this movie really needs no introduction. Everyone knows this story, everyone knows these characters, everyone knows the lines, everyone knows these songs. It's just one of the most iconic films of all time. I never read the book it's based off of, so I don't know how much it follows it, though I hear there are some drastic changes made. But either way, I love it. I actually was a little afraid of this movie as a kid, mostly with anything to do with the Wicked Witch. But now that I'm older, the parts that scared me back then I have a whole new appreciation for. The effects for the most part really hold up in my opinion, and even the ones that don't are still pretty good, for the time it came out at least. The songs are catchy and fun to listen to, the characters are all likable, it's just a classic. It's still beloved after all these years for a reason. Number 19. Psycho. Another movie that I feel needs no introduction, especially to those who've seen it. Considered to be Alfred Hitchcock's most shocking film ever, people weren't even allowed to see it back when it was released unless they saw it from the very beginning. And you know what? That was for the best, because this movie just keeps you on the edge of your seat from beginning to end. I don't think I even need to bring up how iconic the shower scene has become. Let's just say after seeing this scene, you'll never want to shower again without someone standing watch outside the bathroom. But by far, my favorite thing about this movie is Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates. Every time he's on screen, he makes you nervous because you never know what's going on in his head. You never know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. If he's just a poor soul or some psychopath who could snap at any moment. Of course the twist ending reveals what kind of person he really is, but I won't dare ruin it for you. One of the greatest horror films of all time, brought to us by the master of suspense. What more could you want? Oh, and trust me, stay away from the remake. It is not worth your time, to say the least. Number 18. No Country for Old Men. Out of all the movies on this list, this one is probably both the grittiest and the quietest. On the surface, the movie is pretty much a simple 3-way chase between a hunter who stumbles upon a fortune in drug money, a hitman sent to retrieve the money, and a sheriff who's pursuing the hitman. But what makes this movie stand out is the suspense throughout the chase. There are a lot of quiet moments in this movie with no dialogue or music, where all you see is our hero trying to survive, and our villain trying to catch the hero. And not only do they build great amounts of suspense and tension, but throughout them you manage to learn a lot about these characters, like how resourceful they can both be. It's probably one of the best examples I've seen of the #1 rule of film: show, don't tell. Again, my favorite part about this movie is the villain. Anton Chigurh, played by Javier Bardem. Much like Norman Bates, what makes this guy so creepy is that you never know exactly what he's thinking, therefore making him more unpredictable. The only thing you do know is that he doesn't give a crap if he has to kill you or not. And that's pretty much all you need to know. No doubt about it, this is one film that I'll show you to never underestimate the possibilities of what people are capable of. Number 17. First Blood. Ah, the Rambo series. Probably Sylvester Stallone's most well-known and iconic role other than Rocky. Much like No Country for Old Men, the majority of this movie is our villain pursuing our hero. But whereas No Country for Old Men had just one guy chasing him, this movie has an entire police force after him. Damn! Say what you want about Stallone as an actor, but this performance is one of his best. You can feel the turmoil he went through in Vietnam, particularly in his speech at the end of the movie. And again, much like No Country for Old Men, the movie spends a lot of time showing just how resourceful the guy can be. You can put him out in the woods, in the middle of nowhere, with no weapons other than a knife, and he can still hunt down and terrorize a group of cops. That's just badass. And speaking of the cops, the sheriff makes a great villain. He's such an arrogant jerk that it becomes incredibly satisfying to watch Rambo scare the piss out of him. You're probably wondering what I thought of the sequels. Quick sum up. None of them are really good movies, but I'd watch any of them just to watch Rambo kick ass. Rambo, eat your heart out, G.I. Joe. Number 16. Dodgeball. I wanted to include at least one straightforward comedy on the list, and pretty much the second I made that decision, I knew this was going to be the movie I'd pick. Why? Because I can't think of any other movie that has made me laugh harder or more consistently than this one. It's kind of hard to pinpoint just what it is about this movie that makes me laugh more than any other comedy I've seen, but I can't help it. I just find it hilarious. While all the characters get laughs, some more than others, the two that stand out the most are White Goodman, played by Ben Stiller, and Patches O'Houlihan, played by Rip Torn. These two are so bizarre and say the most out there things that they actually become really likable. I also really love the dodgeball scenes. I know that sounds kind of obvious, I mean it's called Dodgeball after all, but the tone of these scenes, and I'd even argue the majority of the film, makes them seem so epic, even though all they're doing is playing a game, and a pretty basic one at that. Throw rubber balls at your opponent until you've hit everyone. Nothing that special. It's just a movie that I put on whenever I need a laugh, and it never fails to deliver. Dodgeball. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.